Welcome to Life is a Fetch Quest. We're back from hiatus, and this is our first episode of 2021. My name's Harvey. We've got Rob and James. So we've been keeping it real while holding it down 100%. James, how you been?
Yeah, good man. Happy New Year. Happy 2021.
Happy 2021. And Rob, yourself?
Happy New Year! I'm doing great. I'm doing fine.
Yep.
I got my air conditioner down here. It's nice.
We don't need air conditioning in Melbourne because it's still cold, even though it's February.
I hate you
17
guys.
degrees today.
Yeah.
It's
So if you guys have been following us last year, you know we've only been doing podcast content, and now we've got video. Rob's just showing us the weather. 30.7 degrees in Queensland right now. Ugh. But as you know, we've been on hiatus for about a month, 2 months and a half. 2 months now, almost. About that. So let's just go over what we've been doing in the last few months. Who wants to go first?
I'm going by the order. So I was like, I haven't been playing Chrono Trigger, but someone has.
You know what? James, how about you go first, please?
Yeah.
Oh God, now I got to go through the list. Dear God, I'm such a robot.
Do you want to go through that?
Say something about a fish.
That fish
No, I'm panicking. You sabotaged me, Rob. You bastard. Okay, cool. I've been playing the Medium, which is the first proper exclusive for the Series X and S. I think we briefly mentioned it last year. It's like a survival horror by Blooper Team. Very much Silent Hill kind of 2 vibes, which is why I was interested in it. Some of the music's also done by Silent Hill 2 composer Akira Yamamoto. So yeah, it's good. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay. I mean, do you guys have questions about it?
I want to hear more about this because, as people of the podcast know, we talk free about the stuff a little bit. I just downloaded it on Game Pass for PC, so I'm curious.
Yeah, we should mention that it's free on Game Pass.
Yeah. I know you're maybe a bit disappointed.
What would you give it out of a 10?
I still haven't finished it.
The upfront review.
I still haven't finished it, which is like a sign of how much I've fallen off it.
Yeah.
Because it's a really short game. It's only like 8 hours long, and I think I've had 2 sessions, and I'm right at the end, and I just can't force myself to finish it. I'm just like, at the beginning, I was very all in. I was like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game, like just to look at. Like the art direction is great in both the realistic side of the world and the hellish dead side of the world. If people don't know anything about this game, the whole gimmick of it, I don't know if mechanic is a better word. The whole mechanic is you're a medium, so you exist in reality, but then you can kind of cross over into, I don't know what you'd call it, limbo or the land of the dead or something. And it renders both of these worlds at the same time. So you're in split screen controlling the same character. This is how a lot of the puzzles work. So you'll get somewhere in reality where, say, I don't know, the stairs are not complete, but you can have an out-of-body experience because the stairs exist in the dead world, and you can go through and find a way to get your real self up there. And a lot of those are actually the highlights of the game. Some really clever puzzles. There's one where you're actually turning the hands of a grandfather clock, and the world is going through time, and you're looking for specific points, almost like a detective mode kind of thing, where you can get your spirit version through. And yeah, moments like that are great. Just in shorthand, the story gets really interesting halfway through and then completely falls off at the end, where it's just not interesting anymore. It kind of gives up all its secrets too quickly, and it's kind of like, oh, I was hoping for something more than that.
How's the big bad? Because
that's the biggest. I hope this game gets a sequel, and it looks like it has a chance to do that because it's already made all its money back, despite being on Game Pass, which I'm happy about because I like the idea of the game, but I feel like it's one of those games where the sequel is going to be superior. I feel like the game just misses combat. I feel like the inspiration it's taken from Silent Hill 2 is the stuff I really like about it. The cinematic camera angles, the whole vibe, the kind of look at it. look of it, like the gray kind of washed out look of the real world is very Silent Hill 2, and even the hellscape kind of part of the world is very Silent Hill 2. Whatever I forget the name of it, but the other world in the Silent Hill games, it's very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's taken a lot of inspiration from Amnesia: The Dark Descent, though, and that's the stuff I don't like.
Yeah.
Because there's no combat, there's no threat of like constant enemies. Not that I'm saying a survival horror game needs to have combat every 5 seconds, but when the only altercations in the game are just one big bad guy that you just have to run from and hide from, very much like Amnesia, and very much like Amnesia, it's invisible. It's not really tense the way they do it. It just kind of gets frustrating because it's like, oh, I couldn't see that corner coming because it was too dark. And now I have to redo this part again where he chases me down a hole. And it's just, it makes the game less scary because there's no tension of like, you don't have a health bar, you don't have weapons. You've got like a shield to protect yourself from like bugs and stuff, but it just takes away from the tension. And one thing I really like about the game is there's one jump scare in it, and it's like, I'm sick of jump scares in horror games.
Yeah.
That's not scary. I'd rather have the feeling of overwhelming dread, like we talked about in Silent Hill 2. Just create a really good atmosphere.
Yeah.
I feel like the game does that at the beginning, but then when you get to the part of the game where you realize, oh, there's no enemies here, so there's no real threat, and then every now and then this big enemy is going to appear, and I just have to run away from him.
Yeah.
And it feels like a quick time event. It just sucks out the tension, you know? And so the only reason you keep playing is to look at it, and because the story is interesting. And then when the story kind of peters out in the final act, you're like, well, what have I got left now? Why am I still doing this? And it gets more irritating near the end. Like the puzzles become less clever and more just like backtracky, kind of find the lever to put it in this thing to open that. Oh, I can't go down here because there's water there, so I've got to go back around. And it's like it really destroys the pacing and it really destroys any sense of tension. And you're just like, I'm bored now.
Yeah.
I'm really bored in this survival horror game, and that's not what you want from a survival horror game.
No.
But I'm glad that it's done well. I like Blooper Team, but this is also the problem I had with Observer, which I thought was a really cool cyberpunk horror game. But it was the same issue. It was like by the end, I'm just running away from this one big bad guy, and I'm not scared, and the atmosphere is gone. And I'm just like, I never finished that either for the same reason. So they've got I saw they've advertised for their next game for people to come in and do combat. So they're obviously taking this next step.
Yeah, gotcha.
Which I don't know what that game's going to be. There's rumors it'll be Observer 2, which I'm down for because I really like that world. But like I like Bloober Team. I like that this is done well. I'm interested to see their further evolution. But unfortunately, the medium, I would still recommend playing it if you're an SH2 fan, just for the first third of the game, because it's really, the story's great, and just to look at it and play that type of game again, it's a good experience.
Yeah.
But just unfortunately kind of a bit of a letdown for me personally.
I mean, I've got a question and a statement. Question: how many Richard Wilkins would you give out of 5 for the medium? And
why? Wait,
why using Richard Wilkins? As a
yes.
The dude from Channel 7 or Channel
absolutely.
9?
Yeah, we're going to use his rating system.
I mean, what's a Richard Wilkinson worth? Because I don't think one of them is worth very much.
50 Richard Wilkinsons out of 5.
God, this is worse than the Devil May Cry super sexy style rating thing we tried to give to our hot takes.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get into that.
I don't know about Richard Wilkins, but as I said, I give it like a 6.5.
Yeah.
When it started, when I was halfway through, it was like a 7, and then when I got to the end, I was just like, take it down to like a 6 or 6.5. It just, the further you play it, the more it kind of grates on you. But the opening 3-4 hours, I really enjoyed.
Really
if you talked to me back then, I'd be like, this is great. This is the second coming of SH2, and I love it.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if, like, especially after playing Silent Hill 2 again like a monthish ago, like if it's just like the threat of enemies, like like in that game you could pretty much not shoot anyone for a big part of it, but like the threat of being surrounded by entities or enemies themselves is still somewhat scary. I wonder if they just needed something like that in medium, just the perceived threat of something, like multiple things to sort of give still some sort of tension or dread as you go through rooms, because like like SH2 is really balances that tension and puzzles pretty well.
Maybe we should do a let's play of it.
Yeah.
Medium. Let's do a let's play so we can really share
I
together.
mean, I think Rob, you're still going to play it, right? I mean, you downloaded it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's do a let's play.
As I said, I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Just being a fan of Silent Hill, I'd recommend like this kind of spiritual sequel experience. But just maybe you'll like it more than me. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should
Okay.
move on.
Moving on. So, Rob, what have you been doing? these last few months?
I'm looking at the list, and even I'm getting like mind fucked by this fish smells weird. The thing that I typed, and I'm like, wait, what? Why did
happened there?
People are so confused. They're like, "What? This fish smells weird. What the fuck are they talking about?"
That's literally what it says in the notes, in the show notes. What the fuck is going on?
I guess two things. One, pretty recently, I kind of decided to revisit an old video game project I was working on years ago. Like, actually started to go and rewrite, like doing a massive rewrite of the game that started a couple of days ago, which has been kind of awesome. I've been regretting doing that for a while. Just it's been a long time since I've looked at any of the notes and any of the systems, and it's been weird, but it's been really good. It's been really good going down like kind of memory lane and like looking at characters and life experience. 6-7 years later is going, oh, actually I was wrong about the way this character was written for what I wanted to do. But in actual video games or playing them, I decided to start playing Chrono Trigger again. Started this year.
Great game.
Which it was inspired by the weirdest thing, because I just had this thought of like thinking about the game and kind of like listening to soundtrack again. I'm going like, man, why is this? It doesn't seem like this, like Chrono Trigger is in anyone's like personal top 10. Like objectively, it's one of the best games of all time, but no one ever seems to have it in like their top 10. So I don't know. It was just like after finishing Cyberpunk and being like, I need a video game, an actual video game to play. I decided to play Chrono Trigger again, and fuck me, like it is a mastercraft of the game. I'm about 70% through now. I'm just in Ocean Palace.
How many times have you played through the game?
This would be,
because I've only played it once when I was like back in the day.
Yeah, this would be my fourth. So I played it
Fourth time.
Twice on SNES with emulation. Actually played it on DS, like physically on DS, and this is my fourth time. But I haven't played it for like almost a decade. I mean, I don't even know when the DS.
Have you played?
That's the sweet spot to replay a game.
Yeah. It's almost you forget everything and then you go back to it.
I've had to have a game guide at some point to go on like, what the fuck? Wait, what am I supposed to do here? And oh, okay, sure.
I have played it. I first played it on a ROM, but my most memorable playthrough is on DS. It was like my most treasured DS game. The one thing I remember about that game, playing it, and it's been a really long time. Like, how long ago was the DS generation? A while ago. So that's how long ago.
2010s.
Yeah, that's how long ago I played Chrono Trigger. And I might be wrong about this, but the one thing I remember about that game impressing me was just I really liked the writing and the story. It was one of the first times I was just instantly drawn into the world and absorbed and liked all the characters, which was a strange feeling in a 2D RPG because everything I'd played up until that point in like the 2D generation of games was very much like, Princess Peach is in a castle, go rescue her. There's your story.
So how is it now playing in 2021?
It's funny, like and this kind of goes to the point of like, I think I understand why it's not a lot of people's top 10s or whatever, is that the game doesn't really do anything new, but what it does do, it's the best at it. So like the battle system feels really intuitive, like even still, where it is still, you have an ATB and all that, but you start to strategize about like, okay, I've got like 6 speed tabs, and I know that like Isla had, if I pair Isla with Chrono together, I can get that like that dual tech, which is like I think it's like called Falcon Cut, and it's a ridiculous amount of damage. So I'm like, okay, just pump Isla full of speed tabs so that her and Chrono's speed can kind of like simultaneously build up. I mean, like it's it's not hard to sort of think about what it could look like with like FF7 remakes battle system, but I think the writing still holds up. Like you were talking about, like James, you're talking about like really strong characters and like really great scenes. Like the scene where it kind of goes into Frog being Glenn and like hanging out with Cyrus, and then he gets transformed into Frog by Margus. Like,
Spoilers.
you know what? No,
It's not gonna ruin
those
your
people,
enjoyment of
You
the
know what?
game.
If they haven't played Chrono Trigger,
They haven't
fix that
played it yet.
shit.
Then
I just remember
Mm.
Chrono Trigger having a really great opening. Like the pacing
Mm.
is really great for the opening, and because the first time I played it, I didn't really give a shit about it. I was just like
Yeah.
bored, and I was like, oh, I've heard this is good. I don't really like these type of games, and I just chucked it on. So that's like the worst mood you can be in to give a game a chance. And
Yeah.
it still pulled me in, and within like an hour later, I was like, 5 inches closer to the screen because I was playing it on PC, and I was just like invested, man. I was like sold. I don't know if this is a hot take to say this, and some people will probably be kind of annoyed, but I
First
feel
hot
like
take of the year. Sorry, that's it.
I mean, a lot of people might agree. Like Chrono Trigger is pretty beloved. I feel like Chrono Trigger is the experience I wanted to get from Final Fantasy 2D games back in the day. Like, I played
Fair.
Final Fantasy, and I was like,
Mm.
kind of struggling to see the appeal. Like, I like 6.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is that the one on the mini SNES?
Yeah.
I like 6, but I played 6 after Chrono Trigger, and I was like, yeah, but this still isn't as good as Chrono Trigger. So you know what I mean? Like Chrono Trigger is kind of what I wanted Final Fantasy to be.
I will say this, man. Like that's
Is that a hot take?
You know what? I don't know, because I thought this the other night, where it's like, okay, if we sat those two games down together, I would say Final Fantasy VI has a better story, right, and better writing, but as a whole package, I think Chrono Trigger is a better game. Like as a whole package, like gameplay itself. Actually, good point you put up. The fucking pacing of that game is so perfect.
Yeah.
Like every time you are just about tired of an area of the game, new area comes in, and yep, now we're switching to this chapter. Now we're switching to this chapter. They never let it linger long enough for you to get tired of it. And even when they start to kind of open up the time areas that you can just jump to whichever you want, it never feels like you're hamstrung.
Yep.
It never feels like they are trying to push you down the main story path. It's kind of like, whenever you're ready, it's over there. But take all the time you need. And nothing about... Yeah.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think pacing is really underrated in what makes a good game lately. I've been thinking about this a lot.
Cyberpunk's a good example.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of general modern day games lately, and I was like, what are these games lacking, especially open world games, because you kind of create your own pace in them, which is a horrible thing to leave up to a player, because pace is a very delicate thing. And if you just give someone an open world and say, play it as much as you want, I think something like Ghost of Tsushima really suffers from being an open world game, and I know people are going to come at my head for that, but I feel like the pacing of that could have been so much tighter if it was a linear story.
Yeah.
But not to get too far from Chrono Trigger, but the reason I thought about this recently is because I've been playing RE4, and the pacing in that game is close to perfect. It's so beautiful.
Tight.
It's that thing you just said. When you just start thinking that you're sick of the game, something completely new happens, and it never lets up. And it's like, man, this game should kind of be studied by game developers. It's like, all right, I've got to keep changing it up. I think that's the difference between Last of Us 1 and 2. Because Last of Us 1 had immaculate pacing where you're always doing something different. Like, you think about pushing the car, you think about the part where you have to protect, I think it's Ellie from the enemies, and you're using the sniper rifle, like the bolt action.
Yeah.
Like, little things like that break up the game so well. And when I think of that game, even after replaying it, I'm like, yeah, that's the reason why you never get sick of it, and you're constantly chasing that carrot on the end of the stick of like, we've got to get to the bridge, we've got to get to the tower. When I think of Last of Us 2, which I really liked, I just think of gather things in a room, try to stealth, things go to shit, finish off the fight, pick up whatever is left, move on to the next area, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
It never changes it up. It changes areas, but doesn't really change what you're doing, like number one. People complain about the ladder puzzles and stuff like that. That still broke things up.
Yeah.
That still changed. And the fact that those are lacking, I think, is to the detriment of 2. But yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I thought Last of Us 2 was great, but I agree with the pacing. Like, I feel like one, they had a really good marriage between story and gameplay pacing, where two, the pacing kind of obeyed the story more. So, you know, like, okay, here's a story arc that we want you to play through, but they never really broke it up. It was kind of like, just be here for the story arc. And like by halfway through, you're just like, oh my god, can we just change another perspective or something? It's like, and you just get like, it's a miserable game, not just because of its content, but because of its pacing as well. That it just like, it's very much like, hey, do you get it? Do you get it? That humanity's really gross, and it's like, yes, just move on to the next set, please.
It starts to come across as a little indulgent.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So to finalize Chrono Trigger.
I would say, yeah, like I don't know if it's still in my top 10, but I understand why it's not. I think like, yeah, like I said before, is that like it does what it does incredibly well, nothing new. But I think it's just like, it's a great palate cleanser from last year, and I genuinely think Cyberpunk broke video games for me for a hot second there. Like I just didn't want to play games. Like I went back to Hades.
Oh, it did the same to me, I think too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, I don't want to really play anything because I'm just like fucking done with games for a bit. And then like I went through my old games list and I was like, I really want to try Chrono Trigger. So I'm happy that I did. It's like, oh yeah, this is what something really. This is a mastercraft of a game, and it's such a joy to play through it. The story's really good. I love the fucking characters in the game. I love Luca. Luca's best girl in that game.
I years later, after having not played it for a while, the thing I still remember is the characters. So yeah, I think you're really onto something about that. That Cyberpunk ruining games for me, because it almost ruined my summer. I was like, I have free time to play games. It's like I don't want to play anything because of Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
but
my summer.
Yeah,
my summer.
Yeah, update us. I haven't heard from you.
My summer was ruined.
By Cyberpunk.
No, not even by Cyberpunk. Unfortunately. So as you know, we had hiatus. During hiatus, I went back to my hometown, visited Rob, did a few sightseeing, came back from a nice holiday, and ready to play some games. And then my PlayStation broke.
PS5.
My PS5, my new PS5 that I barely had for 3 weeks.
Next gen is here.
Next gen broke on me.
Next gen is here, and it's broken, and now it's gone, and it's coming back in 2 weeks.
It died. It died hectically. Like it was super frustrating because it just came back. The day I came back, I was like, I want to play some Destiny. I'll play some Destiny too, and then boom.
I just gifted you Miles Morales too, and you couldn't even play it.
I couldn't even put it in the CD slot because I didn't even get a chance to open it. It took me 2 weeks to fix it.
I remember you calling me that day, and there's very few times I've ever heard you actually angry. Like, like there's been times you're like joking angry or whatever. I could count on my hand the times I've actually heard you angry, and that was one of them. I was like, dude, what happened? Sony.
Why did you call Rob?
Because I was like,
you just needed to vent?
Yeah, I know. I was like, how do I fix this? Like, I've gone through all the troubleshooting things on the Sony website, and it's still not working.
Yeah.
Can I fix it somehow? And it ended up being me having to send it back to Sony.
Yeah, that's always been the final kind of tact for me. It happened with 360. It happened with no, just 360.
just 360.
My PS4 has died a lot, but I've always managed to resurrect it.
Yeah.
But I think I'll hold off on the PS5 until they can make them properly.
Yeah. But I mean, after I got my new one, so my new one I've got now, it's been running really well. I've been very careful, make sure closing everything, knock on wood, close everything before I shut it down. Do the proper checks just to make sure. But I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Before we get to that, God, that makes me so angry. It's like, this is a next-gen fucking console that you can't find anywhere, and you have to, like, carry it delicately like a baby around. It's like, what is wrong with this?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so upsetting.
I mean, I got the launch console, so, you know, there's always issues with launch consoles.
I mean, my Series S is fine.
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting for
Yeah.
that. I was kind of waiting.
This
little
is
bit
not
for
this
that.
is not Xbox versus Sony. This is more just like
This is just Series X
no.
versus everyone
I
else.
think it's because Series S is like the little one that they
internet
didn't
food.
make a lot of, so they just kind of made them really well and sent out like 5 as opposed to the Series X's.
Mm.
Did I say
Which I think-
this? Like Harvey's issues with the PS5 has made me go like, I'm getting a fucking Xbox, man. I'm not having to deal with that. No, thank you.
Yeah, not until they probably released like the Slim or the Pro version.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I think I'll wait for a Slim.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing Assassin's Creed on PlayStation 5.
I'm actually interested about this because does it improve on the faults of Odyssey?
Yes, it does.
Okay, because
Yes, it
we both
does.
played Odyssey and we
But
had some issues.
initially, I didn't like the game. So the first 4 hours, I didn't like the game because it's very soulsy.
Oh,
It's got
oh,
the stamina. It's got the stamina thing. You got your heavy attack, your light attack, your dodge, and your shield, and it takes stamina for each thing. And I'm like, this is what I don't like about Souls.
That's
This is
selling this
Fallen
game
Order
for me,
rant
man.
part 2.
And but 4 hours later. 4 hours later, once you get into the meat and potatoes of the game, so when you get to England and you start doing your opening up your settlement, everything like that, I actually really like the game.
Yeah.
Everything is much more streamlined and cleaner.
Hmm.
You can still choose to explore, but the good thing about the game is if you play the story, like just play through the story, it takes you to all the places that you're going to end up exploring anyway.
Ah, cool.
So
That's really neat.
it doesn't leave out any content. Like all the collectibles, all the stuff is pretty much within like the story area. And
That's
then
cool.
you go out to explore optionally instead of being bombarded with 5 million different things like in Odyssey where you just walk somewhere and then 10 quests pop up.
Is there a bounty system like in Odyssey?
There's still the
Is it as annoying as it is in Odyssey?
not so bad. It's less intrusive. You can choose not to do it, but there is like content obviously, like hunting down the Order of the Nemesis kind of system.
Yeah.
That's still there.
My favorite thing about Odyssey was the combat and the stealth kind of that used to be the focus of Assassin's Creed was no longer the focus. It kind of seemed like a bit of an afterthought. Is there improvements?
Stealth is like I try to do most things stealthy, but there's a lot of parts of the games where like you do raids. So that's very combat focused.
Is the combat fun though?
Yeah.
You said it was very soulsy. Which
Very
makes me-
soulsy, but you get used to it because it's not as unforgiving as Dark Souls. So there's
like
still
Souls Light.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now
Like,
you've gotten used to the mechanics. Like, maybe I could introduce you to a game called Sekiro, possibly? I don't know.
I think Sekiro is the best gateway from software game.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is from Software Cocaine.
It's got enough of just game feel, fun factor to kind of trick you into thinking that you're having fun before you realize that you're punishing yourself over and over again.
And you fight Headless Ape.
I mean, like even Ninja Gaiden, I kind of liked.
You mean the 3D ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 2 is leaving Game Pass soon, and I'm so sad about that. It's a fantastic
I
game.
have a question about Assassin's Creed that I ask because I haven't really engaged with any of like the.
Sorry, I just love that you
I
sound
have
like
a question.
you sound like
question.
Yes, Rob.
you
Yes,
sound
Rob,
like
what is
an
your
English
question?
professor.
I figured now that we have video, I could just like act like an asshole.
You there in the first row? Yes. What's your question? there?
Me. Because I haven't really engaged in any of like the new. Me.
Sorry, I'm just playing with the delay on the video.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Like I'm watching you
Yeah.
do it, and then like you acknowledging it, and then like watching the weird shift between the two.
No, but actually, on the little
Freaking me
on
out.
the little screen, there's no delay, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, your question about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, so I haven't engaged with any of like the new Assassin's Creed whatsoever.
What was the last one you played?
The last Assassin's Creed 2. Like so
Brotherhood?
Revelations, I think.
Oh.
Old Man Ezio.
Yeah, that's right. I do understand they've taken a lot of the Assassin's Creed Pepe Sylvia conspiracy theory stuff out of the game, but like what
No, they haven't.
they
It's, like,
haven't?
more
It's still
into the
there?
game, yeah.
Ooh.
It's actually quite interesting. Like they go into like the lore of the Isu and like the history, the alternate history of the world and stuff. So it kind of makes more sense.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just thought of like a really bad taste Assassin's Creed where you're like a Trump supporter and you have to do a raid on the Capitol.
Oh
And
my gosh,
it's full of
no.
conspiracy theory stuff, like it all.
QAnon.
I kind of want to make that game just to see who plays it and
sell
be like,
really well in the
It's too soon, mate. Too soon.
it'd sell really well in the red states.
Too soon.
Yeah. promoted
yeah,
by
your
Parler.
question.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh my
Please
God.
continue. Please continue.
Your question.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of curious to see like what the ratio of like crazy Assassin's Creed is to like the period piece part of the game, because I know they've kind of moved away from like maybe like the topics of OG Assassin's Creed.
I think like Valhalla, for example, the history is less clear because it's more into the fictional side of things, but it plays into the fantasy much better. Like the whole old history where the old gods like Odin and Thor and stuff plays into that a lot. And then there's a cool segment in the game where you can go to Valhalla. So there's a whole area and it's Valhalla, and then you're playing as the main character Ivor, who's playing as Odin. So it's like a character within a character,
That's cool.
and it's like so it plays more into the fictional than the historical.
okay.
Mm.
I
what would
like
you-
that.
What would you rate it? How many Richard Wilkins out of 10?
I would say it's probably 4 Desmond Miles out of. Oh no, like 3.5 Desmond Miles out of 5.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say out of 10. I was like, I thought you liked this game.
Oh, out
Oh.
of 10, like a 7.5 out of 10.
Eh.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's better than Odyssey.
Would you recommend like pick up on sale or something?
If you've got a spare 80 hours, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Like each of the story arcs are quite long.
Hmm.
Like I'm like probably chapter, I don't know, like halfway through the game, and each story arc is like 4 hours ish.
Yeah, the older I get, the more I just want well-paced linear games. I'm really starting to kind of detach myself from open world stuff.
Yeah, but I like it. I think I'll definitely finish it and give my final review later on.
I wish there was like a Ghost of Tsushima style kind of co-op mode or something. Is there?
Nah, not in Assassin's Creed. No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
I feel like Ghost of
surprised-
Tsushima should set a nice precedent for being like, we've got co-op, maybe.
Not since what was that? The French one?
Unity.
Yeah, Unity.
Yeah.
Not since Unity. Anyways, let's move on to our main topic.
I just want to give my score
Yeah.
for Chrono Trigger really quickly before we move on. It's
Oh.
4 Richard Wilkins and 1 Carrie-Anne Kennelly. So,
Nice.
Carrie-Anne Kennelly's a minus though, so that means it's a 3 out of 5.
oh shit. So 6 Richard Wilkins and 1 Carrie-Anne Kennelly,
There you go.
Yeah.
plus half a Red Simons.
That racist old bitch.
Yeah,
So that's wow.
I mean, it's
true. I mean,
I just call it like it is, man.
spade is spade.
I don't know. I was gonna say that, but I was like, is that racist to say that? Like, isn't spade like a derogatory term for? I don't know.
Maybe we should
Let's get away
maybe we
from
should
this
check after
area.
this
Yeah.
and just
Yeah,
shamed of our
just-
words and
just
deeds.
Fact check.
Because I was gonna say that too, and I was like, wait, spade. No, whatever. Predictions.
All right, so to start off our 2021, we're going to do a predictions talk. So, predicting what we think will happen in gaming for 2021. We're using the DMC rating system for our craziness of games. So, we've got D for dismal, C for crazy, B for badass, A for apocalyptic, S savage, double S 6 skills,
6 skills.
and triple S smoking sexy style.
you got to do it, in the voice.
Yeah.
Smoking sexy style.
Oh yeah.
So the more crazy, the more ridiculous our prediction sounds, the higher the rating it gets. So triple S is the highest. D obviously is the most sound predictions. So who wants to start with their predictions for this year?
I went first for the other thing, so I don't know, Harvey. Let's go with you. I feel like you're the most grounded.
Yeah.
Should I start with like the most obvious ones that I think, or
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
do that.
I didn't write down my predictions.
Switch hardware update.
Yeah, that was
Pro.
your first one, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Switch hardware update Pro, yeah. So I reckon the Pro will be this year. Switch Pro, possibly. This is probably my
Safest bet.
safest bet. Yeah, Switch hardware Pro, but then also maybe a Savage, maybe a A or an S score would be the new Nintendo console announcement. So I think probably they're going to announce a new Nintendo console,
I mean,
like a new Game Boy or a new console.
so you don't mean a replacement for the
No,
Switch?
not a replacement for a Switch. A completely different
Like a
new
Switch 2 or something.
Yeah, something completely different.
I mean, why would they though? Because they've got the portable market and the home console market in the one console. There's no need for like a Game Boy or a DS anymore.
There is always Nintendo hardware.
I think
to
if
be
anything,
found.
they'll just get more into mobile.
I have a theory about this, and I don't know if this changes the grade of the prediction. But I feel like we've had this conversation a little bit, but I feel like what they're going to release is basically a dock or two versions of the Switch Pro. Or I still think it's going to be called the Switch Entertainment System, like a callback to the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I thought that too. But
Yeah.
I have my doubts now.
What is that? Is that just a hunch, or like you feel like you know how Nintendo's marketing mind works? Why that exactly?
I feel like because the Switch represents a huge reset for the company, people's expectations for them, and I mean they're still considered kiddie, but they're not outside the conversation anymore.
They're the top selling console of 2020.
It's ridiculous how much they sold. So I think maybe the way they're going to structure it is two SKUs. So a dock, which would be like the Switch Pro dock. If you already have a Switch, like yes, maybe the logistics might really work. But it's like if you already have a Switch, if you dock it in here, you'll be able to play Switch Pro specific games. And then they'll release an actual Switch Pro, which is the rumored 4K display or whatever crazy shit they're going to be doing for it.
See, I thought that at first. I thought, okay, what's the best way Nintendo can bring all the current Switch players up into like the new next generation? And the dock, it makes the most sense. Like you have the external GPUs now that you can have for computers, for PCs, for laptops, whatever. So having an external GPU for your Switch, and then having the Pro dock, where it just upres your Pro or your normal Switch into a Pro. But I think I don't think Nintendo's going to do that. I think they're going to completely release a whole new Switch Pro unit. So battery life improved, 4K, blah blah blah, and then something else.
And then something else.
Yes.
I mean, this is a lot for Nintendo in 1 year, who has a history of just doing nothing and resting on their laurels. And that alone just makes me want to go, I think they're just going to continue doing nothing, because they've been doing nothing, or doing the very least, and they've still been like the most like well-sold console of 2020. Why would they waste R&D like committing time and manpower to new resources when it's like we can just keep doing nothing and keep winning?
No, because next generation has arrived.
Yeah, no one can buy it. So it hasn't really arrived, so I'll buy a Switch instead.
I mean, like, the Switch is a pretty old console at this point. It's what, 6 years? Which is considered, for Nintendo time, is getting on in its age.
Is it really 6 years?
Yeah, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think a Pro version is totally within the realms. That and something else, though? I don't know. I feel like that bumps it into, like, B into an A a little bit.
Okay.
Apocalyptic.
All right, who wants to go next?
I think me and Rob both had the same prediction, which was we'll see a Zelda 3D All-Stars.
Yeah.
You gonna commit to that, Rob?
I'm absolutely gonna commit to that. I'm gonna pop that up here.
I think that slots in nicely with Mario, and unfortunately, I think they won't learn their lesson from the Mario release, and it will be like a limited thing again.
So that's a pretty much certain thing. That's a C or a D.
It's a little bit crazy. because I can expect them. With Nintendo, I just never expect them to do anything.
Yeah.
And then even when I expect them to do stuff, I always expect it to be like a half measure. Dear God, I mean, like I've been doing too much music theory. Half measure,
Yeah, it's half measure.
like a
makes
half
sense.
measure attempt
Yeah.
of like like the Super Mario 3D Land. Like it's like, oh, it's a new game, but not really. We've tacked on some shit. It's like, yeah, that's very Nintendo. It's like we're just gonna keep doing nothing, but we'll physically give you something, but you pretty much already have it. It's like, yeah, that's very on brand with Nintendo. So even them doing something slightly like, oh, here's the 3D Zeldas, it's like, well, that's at least crazy. I wouldn't give it a dismal.
I'm just trying to think.
What's the start of the Zelda anniversary? How many years has Zelda been now?
More than 30.
Zelda series.
86?
Yeah.
So 35. This is the
Yeah, I
35th
think 35th anniversary sounds about
So
right.
it's probably a milestone for Nintendo then.
Yeah, it makes sense. It lines up.
Yeah.
Which leads into my one.
Okay.
I'm just gonna paste that in the list here. I kind of coming off the coattails of your prediction, Harvey, and actually the 3D All Stars. I think we'll get. I think Breath of the Wild 2 will be a cross generation,
Yeah,
and
I was going to say that too.
they're going to announce the gameplay and release date alongside. Hey, by the way, Switch Pro.
That kind of annoys me a little. Like, it's like, can't we just get a fucking Zelda game that's not cross-generational? Because they did this for Breath of the Wild and they did this for Twilight Princess. It's like, stop doing that.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I have to buy the new console to get the most out of Zelda. Like, it felt kind of shitty playing Breath of the Wild on Wii U. Like, it was still a good game and it played well on it because it was developed for it. But there's still this feeling of like fear of missing out, you know? Which I never had because I bought a Wii and I had Twilight Princess, but yeah, just stop doing that, Nintendo. Stop doing it with Zelda.
Weirdest fucking things to do as well, because it's like, you remember in Breath of the Wild when you're playing the Switch version, like everything seemed to run a little bit better, except the puzzles where you had to use the like gyroscope for the Switch itself, and if you're playing handheld, you can't see the goddamn screen. And I'm like, no one thought about
for
this.
Wii U.
Yeah, because it's for the tablet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was having a great time on those puzzles on my fucking outdated console. That once I blew all the dust off it.
I think I played it on Wii U as well. I borrowed your Wii U to play it.
Yeah.
But
Double dip,
I don't know. They're saying Breath of the Wild 2 Q2 release this year. So
that's true.
Q2.
That's news that we should have talked about. That a date got leaked by.
Well, they got to do something.
Yeah, they have to announce something this year because they missed out on a lot of opportunities last year because of COVID and stuff. And unfortunately, Animal Crossing does not make a business.
I mean, I asked my friends who are like not really gamers, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't play Animal Crossing anymore." So I think it was very much a 2020 lockdown kind of game.
Yeah, that game is exaggerated. Its success is definitely exaggerated by the circumstance of being in a pandemic.
Yeah.
I know people like it, and I'm sure it would have done fine regardless, but the timing of that, it was just right place, right time.
Okay, next
what do we
next hot take?
What rating are we giving?
Oh, yes, rating.
I think it's pretty average.
The Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild.
I mean, I say dismal because it's so predictable that Nintendo would do that again.
Yeah.
Like, it annoys me. So that's very much a Nintendo move.
Okay.
I'm just going to really quickly just copy... Well, maybe we'll get to that one.
I mean, that kind of ties in. Just might as well get into it now.
Yeah, I feel like All Stars with like a 2D version is slightly more outlandish, but hell, they'll repackage anything. Who wants to go next?
I'm just going in the order because it's easiest for me to read, but do you think Halo Infinite will be delayed?
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes.
For how long?
Wasn't that you?
No, that was Rob.
That was me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just talking about an order. I don't really care about.
Okay.
You know.
Who brought it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's going to be delayed.
It was already delayed.
But for how long?
I think for about... Because what's its current date now?
They have to be in the launch window of the new console. They can't.
I think it will be outside a launch window.
Really?
There's really... I think the response...
Why? Do you... Because it looks so bad, or because...
I think the response that people had towards it outside of the Craig meme stuff was like pretty mediocre.
You think the Cyberpunk response has added to their anxiety?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yes.
think Cyberpunk has gotten people fucking spooked. A lot of developers have gone, okay, we can't release a busted ass game anymore. Like,
Yeah, I'm
that's-
glad though.
yeah,
They were getting too reliant on patches. I'm fucking yeah.
I don't think any developer wants to go through the bad press anymore. There will still be day one patches, but for
Mm.
that level of I don't think they're gonna redo. They don't want to go through another Master Chief Collection issue again.
So on Games Radar, it's saying fall 2021. So you're saying basically 2022.
I think
of release.
2022.
That is tough because I think Halo Infinite is probably going to be the marquee game for
Hang on though.
Mm.
So
the Xbox next gen.
slight hot take on that point.
Yeah.
Is Halo really that important anymore
No.
to Microsoft?
Yes.
To
Really?
that degree?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Wait. So you both said no and yes in unison?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with Rob. I don't think it's that important anymore.
I think
it's dropped off. In terms of like the hierarchy of like important Xbox
Well,
games.
what do you think?
I
is the
think
most-
Microsoft and Xbox and the Xbox brand has just moved more towards like Game Pass as being the reason to have an Xbox.
Yeah.
Like that's not really about exclusives. Like they still have them and they're there.
Yeah,
But it's not like it's not that thing anymore of like I have to have an Xbox to play Halo. It's like, oh, it'd be nice, but yeah, I don't really think it's that important. So
I don't know.
Mm.
Like-
I think Gears is their flagship title now, and I'm not even a huge
Nah.
Gears person. You don't think so?
I think Halo still.
You
Halo
think-
still is still their flagship. I think I agree with you with the Game Pass thing,
Yeah.
but I think Halo Infinite is going to be like the game where it's like this is pinnacle Xbox graphics wise, blah blah blah.
I think they think that for sure. I don't
Yeah,
know. I can't agree. I can't agree in my conscience that Halo is still important, but I think Microsoft sees it as an
Yes.
important flagship title, and I
Mm.
think that what happened with Cyberpunk scared the shit out of a lot of developers, and it's like if they release it, it has to be good. I maybe even more of a hot take. I think they're really thinking about the whole games as a service components to that game a little bit more.
So you said that you feel like to them it is, but I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like they have they're kind of more self-aware recently with the whole Game Pass, allure of Microsoft, and I think they
Mm.
wouldn't have delayed Halo
Hmm.
if they still thought of it so highly. I think they're just like, yeah, this is like a notch in our,
Mm.
this is a bullet in our gun, but it's like it can wait. Like they have the confidence to know that people will still be interested in the brand because of Game Pass and because of all these other things they have to offer. So I think it's the opposite. I think I think give them a bit of credit for being kind of self-aware, being like, well, if we're going to release it and maintain the brand, let's make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Which kind of I guess supports your theory that it will be delayed even further.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
All right. What do you think?
What do I
It's
think?
it's a little crazier than usual. I'll give it like a badass.
Yeah, I'd say B. Badass.
Badass.
All right. Speaking of games as subscription, game streaming as a service, I think game streaming this year is going to be big. I think PlayStation is going to try and give the PlayStation Now counter to Game Pass. And also, you've got here xCloud.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on that? 2021 year of the game subscription service?
I hate that. I think that you're right. I hate it. I hate it so much. But
Netflix gaming?
I think it is a great idea. I really do think it's a great idea, but I hate that it's a great idea. Because I feel like companies are going to get the wrong idea about the value of having a physical product. I mean, physical is never going to go away. Like, I think
physical will go away.
oh, it's an army of hot takes today. I love it.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, James, what do you think about this?
Well,
Do you
for
think
me, it
physical-
will be.
Sorry.
For me, it will be the year of subscriptions because I pretty much almost exclusively play Game Pass stuff these days. I don't know, like physical for the first time, I guess ever for me does seem outdated now because I don't play anything physical unless I'm playing retro stuff.
I hate this so much.
And I get where you're coming from because we're all from the same age of gaming where
Yeah.
part of the excitement of getting a new game is going to physically pick it up on
Yeah.
the drive on the way. And if you're with friends and you're all like, I have amazing memories of going to see a midnight screening of Matrix Reloaded and going to EB and getting Wind Waker midnight release at Garden City when it came out with a bunch of
Man.
my friends. And that's just like a treasured memory, you know?
Mm.
And that's something that can never be replicated from just going onto a store and being like, oh, my copy of The Medium is ready that I downloaded, 4 weeks ago, and now it's unlocked it for me.
Yeah.
What a momentous occasion. I
Mm.
wish all my friends could be here, and I wish a guy was walking past in a bad Neo cosplay and we threw popcorn at him.
I mean, you can do that. You can do that
But,
in your apartment block.
I can, but I don't think I'll treasure it as much as the memory I'm speaking of. But you know what I mean? It's just
I know
it's
what
that
you mean.
aura of like a new game coming out, and it's like you're all after the same thing. And then we went and watched The Matrix, and it was terrible. But then we went home to my friend's place, and we booted up like Wind Waker at 1 a.m. and just watched him play it. And it's like, wow, I have this game, and when I go home, I'm gonna play it too. And
Okay.
it's just it's
Yeah.
it's sad to see the traditions of gaming disappear, and also the younger generations to never know that these kind of things existed.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see why you think physical is still gonna stay.
I think physical will stick around. In an ideal world, I think game streaming can offer a really good. So, like, my personal experience of Game Pass has been a lot of like discovering different franchises that I probably would have never bought, like Yakuza.
definitely,
Specifically Yakuza 0, where it was like, oh fuck, this game's amazing, and I never would have
Yep.
bought it before. I think I actually have like Yakuza 4 or something on PS3, and
they're all on Game Pass now.
Yeah, there's a whole
Every single one,
whole collection,
except
right?
for
Like a
except for
dragon.
Zero. I think Zero is the only one that's not.
right.
But I could be wrong. Yeah.
So like I see it use of that way. Like I feel like it could be used in a way that's really great for like brand awareness for games. I do think that there is something inherently like I still buy physical games whenever I can because there is something like momentous about it that I like owning the physical copy itself. And I just think that console owners still haven't figured out how to include a decent fucking storage in consoles.
Yeah,
Like before you know
definitely.
it, like
That's the thing, though. Like streaming, if they do the whole streaming thing, you won't need as much storage. It'll be like live.
that.
Yeah, but then what happens? Like
Yeah.
you move house and you don't have internet for 2 weeks, so you can't play games.
And I think
I think it'll be like the Netflix thing where you can choose to download the game, play
True.
offline. If you want.
Even the storage argument. I saw the new recent next gen version of Control. The size of the file is incredibly smaller because they found like a new way to compress them. So they are kind of coming up with solutions for these things.
Yeah.
in terms of game streaming, though, just living in Australia, I think it's a ways off for them to work on it
Yeah,
outside
there
of
is.
America. Like, I mean, just this week, Stadia was like, "All right, don't worry, never mind games. We're gonna be business focused. All right, peace."
Good. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Exactly.
I almost said don't let the whore hit you on the way out.
I mean, probably true.
Could
for a
also
couple of
apply.
executives.
All right.
But I think that's a reasonable assumption about like I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. This prediction, but I think it's very reasonable.
No,
so it's a C or D?
Oh, it's like a D. It's so realistic that I'm kind of in the same mindset as Rob. It's like I know it's gonna happen and I hate it. I'm the old man sitting on my fucking lawn just being like, no, don't take my traditions.
Not my video games. But first accents of the year, by the way.
Yeah.
Finally bringing it back.
Yeah.
For us?
For us? First accent on recorded.
On the podcast.
On the podcast.
The old man accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
A timely tradition.
I feel like that one comes up a lot.
Yeah. I'll go next.
Yep.
And I can't remember whose this was. So
It was James.
it was your
The
okay.
E3 one.
Yeah, the E3 one.
Yeah.
So there will be no E3 in 2021. What do we think about that?
I think so. There will be.
I think
I think you're the only one that thinks there will be. I think we both think there's
I
not
don't think
going
it
to
will
be.
be.
Yeah.
I think there will be.
Why do you think that? Since
Because-
you're the outlier.
Outlier.
Yeah.
I'm the contrarian in this scenario. I think because E3 in America, like they've got all the COVID vaccinations and all that stuff coming out. I think people in America especially will want to go to conventions and try and bring back what was before.
Mm.
The time before. sounds
The
a
land
bit-
before time.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're not only advocating that there's going to be E3, but you're saying there's going to be a physical E3.
Physical E3.
I thought you were at least indicating they were going to try and do a digital
No,
showcase.
I
I
think
think
that's
there'll be a
completely
physical-
insane.
I
No,
think-
this is SSS, super sexy style or whatever.
I think
Dude,
there
there's
will
not
be-
even going to be a vaccine at that point.
there is already
But for everyone, for like the common people.
yeah, for the commoners. In America they've already distributed more vaccines than people have got sick of COVID in America. You know how many people got sick in America.
Biden's fucking on the warpath, man.
Yeah.
He's going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
I
So
put
I
S-
think there will be a physical E3, and I think it'll be not so great.
Well,
I don't think everyone will participate. as
Yeah,
well.
no, definitely not.
Yeah,
I
but
can
I think-
guarantee Nintendo won't be there.
I think there will be an E3.
I'm going to give that one a triple S.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go double S, and here's why.
Mhm.
Especially if it's a physical E3. Like I'd be willing to side with you if it's like, okay, there will be some sort of digital direct, or like companies will be doing stuff around the time of E3 that like they kind of did last year, but it'll be more coordinated. There's a slim chance that a vaccine will be given out enough so that it's not going to be a goddamn logistical nightmare. And I think even still, they'd still have to restrict how many people would come in for a while.
Yep.
Then the other part of this is like developers probably looked at like how much it costs to be at E3 and then checked the balance books and was like 2021 nah,
Yeah,
let's just
they
make a
probably
stream,
already
man.
decided.
Okay, well, let's wait till about June to see if this comes to fruition.
Just the international, like they wouldn't be letting in internationals at that point, even if they did have the vaccine. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We're kind of trying. We're by the essence of what we're talking about, we're trying to predict the future, which is impossible. But I don't see it, man.
Okay,
I see E3 just not even
happening.
acknowledging it.
What,
They'll
you
just
think-
try like a whisper in the wind. Just June passes by and
I'm of the mindset that there'll be no E3 from here on out, but I
Yeah,
would love.
yeah.
I miss E3. I miss like the
miss the
fanfare.
hype.
Yeah.
The dumb marketing hype.
a spectacle.
Yeah, about it that I really missed last year, and I really hope it does happen this year. But every time,
We're
yeah,
such old men.
yeah,
It's like we miss buying physical copies of games. I miss getting my copy of Hyper with the E3 2002 special on the front. Super Smash Brothers Melee looks great. It looks great, damn it.
Miss Phil Spencer walking on stage talking about Game Pass.
I miss Phil Spector promising me things that'll never come.
I miss Phil Spencer saying Phantasy Star Online
Wait.
2, motherfuckers.
I said Phil Spector.
Phil Spencer.
R.I.P. Phil Spector. Phil Spencer.
Oh.
I miss Phil Spencer promising me acorns were gonna grow on the trees in Fable in real time.
What's his name? Oh God. Doesn't
Also,
matter.
we kind of we kind of transitioned from old men into like Auntie Donna voices for a
Yeah.
second there. I love the way it makes me feel in my gullet.
Oh my God, Harvey, you want to take the next one?
Okay. All right.
Is that the right
So
order?
next,
Are we doing? Did I skip?
I mean, we still got a lot to go, and how much time have we got? Oh, well, let's just keep going.
We can edit out the less interesting ones or whatever.
Sure.
Microsoft and Nintendo will come to some sort of agreement
Oh,
with Rare.
yeah, this is mine. This is my super sexy
Yeah.
style, specifically
explain
made
your
insane one.
fucking
Can I
self.
can I read out the whole thing?
Please.
Oh.
Explain your logic.
Yeah, no,
Explain your thought
I feel like
process.
I have to explain my insanity. So yeah, I just wanted to kick it up a notch and dream a little. So I think Microsoft and Nintendo will come to some kind of some agreement, and Rare will start producing some of their old games on the Switch. Might even get like a Rare replay, and they will use this agreement to come together and give everyone what they want, which is a sequel or a remake to Diddy Kong Racing.
It's so
I can't even say it with a
stupid.
straight face.
It's
I
so profoundly stupid, and I love every character in that sentence.
I mean, that's the essence of it, right? It's like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but you fucking want it to happen.
I don't even.
You know what? I think it's more likely than not.
Okay, cool. I like that you're giving me hope.
Yeah.
Now
I-
you
I
need to
think-
explain yourself. How is that?
I mean, it is one of the number one searches for Diddy Kong Racing Switch.
Are
Wait, you've done
serious?
research on
on
this?
on Google.
God, I love you, Harvey.
So-
Sometimes I love that
The
There
game
is-
is very popular.
There is definitely some demand for it.
Yeah, like you see like interviews with like weird hipster indie bands, and they talk about playing Diddy Kong Racing like on 64 in 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, someone made like a Unreal Engine 4 version of Diddy Kong Racing back
Also,
in 2018.
Can I just address like the practical logistics of how popular Mario Kart is? And somebody's not looking at Diddy Kong Racing, going like, we could squeeze some more money out of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Would you think it was? Would you think it was equally insane if they just released Diddy Kong Racing on Switch?
I think what makes this completely insane to me
Mm.
is not the fact that Microsoft and Nintendo are partnering up. It like
They've already done that.
they've already done that, and they're on they seem to be in really good like a really good developer relationship. Rare Classics or Rare Replay is outlandish, but it's not remotely out of the question. The fact that they would remake or make a sequel to Diddy Kong Racing over like Banjo-Kazooie or like literally any other Rare property is like it's like Pepper Sylvia. You know what? I'm not even gonna put
Diddy
a
Kong
rating on
Racing
here.
has.
I'm just gonna put. Oh god, no, that's not it. You know what I'm gonna do? Hang on. No, continue. I'm gonna do something over here.
I was just gonna say Diddy Kong Racing has like broader appeal. It's got that casual gamer market. Everyone plays it. It's a game for everyone, like Mario Kart.
I mean, they had the cancelled Diddy Kong Racing Adventure for GameCube.
3D platformers. Oh my god, I completely forgot about.
I'm putting a Richard
Diddy Kong-
Wilkins here instead of a rating. That's how crazy it is.
I completely forgot about Diddy Kong Racing Adventure on GameCube. I
Yeah.
forget there was a planned sequel.
Yeah, there was a planned sequel.
Yeah, it was on the back of the box of the GameCube box. My god.
So could possibly be Diddy Kong
Yeah,
Racing
I mean,
Adventure.
we finally got Star Fox 2, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have seemed smoking sexy style crazy?
That is true. And I'll give it that like, you know, we did have Star Fox Assault that was made by Namco back in the day. So like, it's not completely out of the question. It's just like that particular property. I genuinely love Diddy Kong Racing, and I think they could do. And yeah, like even that, I would love to see what the prototype of Donkey Kong Racing was for the GameCube. They could do good shit with it, and like the time is nigh. Like Crash Nitro Kart or Nitro Racing, Crash Team Racing, whatever the fuck they want to call it now, is like really popular. Mario Kart, even like that Sega kart racing thing is super popular. So it feels like it's the time to do it. It's just like
If they were going to do it at any time.
yeah. I mean, I'm keeping that there.
If anything, Rare would probably do something Conker related.
I feel like that's
I would imagine
reasonable. But
yeah.
Did you hear that? Just real quick, did you hear that Conker's Bad Fur Day in the Mighty Pooh boss battle actually messes up on next gen hardware because it loads too fast and it goes out of sync and freezes?
what?
Yeah, so they've had to like go back and try and patch it.
Oh wow!
Like
Is
the
this...
singing scene, it loads too fast and the game freaks out and just he doesn't keep singing and it just stops.
Is this like Live and Reloaded or like the original 64?
The one on Rare Replay
Oh shit!
that you can get on Game Pass that I have on like Series S. I haven't tried to play Conkers, but apparently it messes up because the SSD is too fast.
I would
When technology is too good.
Yeah.
I would really recommend. I'm pretty sure we've all watched the like the fake director's commentary on Conker that like Chris Seaver and co put on YouTube. Have you guys watched that?
No, I've never even heard of that.
It's truly amazing. It's basically the team of Conker going to Chris Seaver's house, who's the director and voice of Conker, getting plastered and playing Conker's Bad Fur Day and talking about developing it. And like the weird rivalry they had with the Banjo-Kazooie team, and it's pretty awesome. Sorry, that's a huge tangent, but would you like to...
Sorry.
No, go.
I was just going to say, so, like, as we're running a bit long, do we want to just, like, rapid fire through these and just give, like, a quick reaction to these
quick
couple
reactions
ones?
to the last ones. I do want to go through some of the more, like, Triple S ones, but if it's not Triple S, I think we'll just say it and then just give it a score.
Well, we can go through all of them and then circle back around to
Yeah.
the ones that we want to talk about.
Rare will make a sequel to Jet Force Gemini. Literally, no one wants this, but it's completely crazy.
That was in
Anything's
response.
possible, man.
That was in response to your bullshit Diddy Kong Racing prediction.
Jet Force Gemini.
Hey, I wanted to dream, and then Rob wanted to dream. Like,
Okay.
whatever, man.
I think
We're
Nation of
dreamers.
dreamers, baby.
that's
Yeah.
just an SS.
Yeah.
Con-
No,
it's
yeah,
a
SS.
conditional SS. Basically, the first part has to happen.
Yeah.
Master Chief will be a character in Super Smash Brothers this year.
I'll give that a C. I think that's kind of likely. I mean, I would still be shocked, but yeah.
I'd say B for badass.
I
It'd
would.
be badass to have him.
I'd vote B in this one. Like, I could
Mm.
totally see it happening, but again, I think this is almost like. I think like this prediction should be above the Microsoft and Nintendo will come to some agreement with Rare. Like that's
Yeah,
what
it's
starts it
conditional.
all.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's the first thing that kicks it off. I don't even know if this next one is a real prediction or if somebody just put it in as a joke.
If
Is this you,
Destruction,
Harvey?
If Destruction All Stars is successful, Sony will try and create an All Stars brand, launching with PlayStation All Stars 2.
I mean, is there a rating above SSS?
Maybe a Bert Newton. I don't know.
Yeah, explain yourself, Rob. This was you.
So there's a part of me that genuinely thinks this. I think that
Oh my
like
God.
here's my Pepper Sylvia moment. So I think
Okay.
them using the All Stars branding for Destruction, basically Destruction Derby, is no accident. I think that they are trying to make fetch happen and make like an All Stars brand, like a line of party games or esports bullshit. And I think that'll lead to them going, "Hey, here's our All Stars brand, and we're going to try and revive PlayStation All Stars 2."
Oh, you've actually got logic behind this. We'll circle back around to this one to talk later.
Yeah.
But just to keep the ball rolling, release date for Metroid Prime 4.
I think this is 5 S's.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say last time we talked about this, it was like, yeah, no, that seems like something they should do.
Yeah.
Like they need to do this. Even if the game, I know it has some development issues, even if it's still a ways off, at least give us some kind of footage or something. Show us Samus standing there kicking a alien in the face or something. I don't know.
Summer 2021.
Tech demo, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything but a logo.
I think
so
it's-
like a C or a B.
Yeah, I think possibly a B, and only for this reason is that like they should. It's been enough time, and they need a lot of announcements to sort of have this year. But also knowing Nintendo, it might be a little bit like, are you guys gonna say anything, or we're just gonna gloss over this? Okay, we're just gonna gloss over this.
Could be.
So yeah, yep. I'll take that. I'll take that image for the All Stars prediction.
All right, let's really push through
Okay.
these. Shin Megami Tensei will have an update this year.
SMT5.
I said this in the other day. I think as much as I really want this to be a D, I think this is an S.
Okay.
Okay.
And that really
See-
bums me out.
Sega, I think this is in response to my rare insanity, but Sega will announce a partnership with Nintendo and do a new F-Zero.
That's just something you want, Rob.
I just really want this, guys.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is my Diddy Kong. This is your Diddy Kong Racing.
Look, the director behind Yakuza has come out and said, "I would love to return to F-Zero," and I'm like, that's my is this happening? GIF?
It's an SS.
Yeah, okay, it's an SS. I'll wear that. That's fair.
New GTA announcement or trailer. That's very broad, I think.
There's an amendment though. Rob says they'll announce a GTA Online and it will be upgraded for the new GTA alongside GTA 6 announcement.
Well,
I mean, it's been a couple of years since RDR2.
Yeah.
Mm.
and it's been.
I mean, yeah.
As I say, like it's just been forever since 5 at this point. Like you would imagine that their teams have already started working on something.
There was no Grand Theft Auto game for the generation of PS4 and Xbox One.
That's true. I mean, it was on there, but it wasn't.
It was originally
yeah.
PS3. So for an entire generation of hardware, which was a pretty lengthy generation, I mean, there was an RDR2, but there was
Okay.
no GTA.
GTA 6, though.
Do you think they'll ever make like it's not up or shut up time, right? It's like they'll either announce GTA 6 or they'll never do another GTA.
Yeah,
They'll just constantly keep updating
or a new IP.
GTA Online.
Yeah, GTA Online and a new IP.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Maybe they feel like they've gone as far. I mean, just the brand alone is worth so much. It'd be kind
of a waste to not have it.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I reckon that's a B or a C.
I'm gonna give it one above the B. Let's go apocalyptic.
A.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Next one.
I think my individual prediction is conditional. If this happens, this is a certainty. I think that
Okay.
will happen.
Then that's a D.
Yeah.
Condition A.
Like they are all about that
Dysfunction.
games as
Yeah.
a server shit at the moment.
Yeah.
So the next one is RE4 Remake, which has already been confirmed. So I'm not really sure what the prediction is. Is it that it comes out this year?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay, well, it's had a lot of development issues recently, which makes me think. I mean, they've got Village coming out this year, RE8, although not officially 8, but it is 8. So I think they're good for this year. I think they try and do that alternating year thing, and we don't see RE4 Remake until second quarter of next year.
Second quarter next year.
Yeah.
Teaser?
Quarter 2. I reckon pre-Christmas.
No, I'm to be clear, like the game actually coming out second quarter next year.
Okay. No, I still think pre-Christmas.
Well, that's second quarter. I mean second half. Sorry, second half of the year.
Quarter 3.
Yeah. So the reason for that is just the recent admission of like it's having issues.
Okay.
I have a better idea after recently playing RE4 of just some basic things they could improve that game, but still keep the essence. And it basically revolves around I don't want to have to switch guns by pausing the game, and I don't want to. No, that's it. You can still stop and pop. I'm okay. I bet people will complain if they leave it stop and pop, and I guarantee they won't. But the only change I'd make is let me just change weapons in the moment. I don't want to have to pause.
What do you reckon, Rob?
I think that. Sorry, I'm looking at an image and I'm going to put one of the predictions. I think that we'll get a teaser. I think I'm kind of with Harvey on this one. I think before Christmas we'll get a teaser of like, hey, you remember this village, or like here's what Leon looks like now. I don't think we'll see gameplay this year, but I do think we'll get a teaser for sure.
Okay.
Maybe at this E3 that Harvey is predicating.
June. We'll see. We'll see.
So
do you want to put some money on it?
Oh my god, that's the next step, is it?
Yeah.
500.
So what do we want to give this the rating for this?
Oh, what's the prediction, that it doesn't come out till next year? Or that
the remake teaser comes out this year?
It's not that crazy. I'd say like a C.
Yeah. I think C is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. This next one is Rob. Do you want to take
Yeah, so Nintendo Garage are the studio behind. Garage is like the Nintendo's extracurricular game jam studio that are behind Splatoon, and they've been pretty quiet since Splatoon 2. So I think that we'll get at least. I should amend this into announces a new IP. I think it's the time. I think now's the time for them to announce.
Any idea what that would be?
Another multiplayer based thing?
Another try into esports?
Maybe. I have a sneaking suspicion no. But
maybe another Animal Crossing style non-gamer branch into the everyone playing kind of game.
I think maybe more so that I have a gut feeling it's like more casual base,
like general,
like a party game or
something like that.
Yeah,
like fucking Fusion Frenzy, Nintendo style.
That's Mario Party.
Nintendo Land sequel.
I want a Nintendo Land sequel.
How is that not one of our crazy, super sexy style predictions? Nintendo Land.
Eventually,
or even just port Nintendo Land to Switch.
Yeah. We've made our peace with not another Nintendo Land, even though it deeply saddens me.
This is like the #1 video game podcast of fans of Nintendo Land.
many couch games we played.
This next one is fucking insane, and I think we were just trying to one-up each other at this point. But new Metal Gear entry, Kojima and Konami get back together. Who the fuck was that?
That was me. I think so.
Yeah, you were just trying to one-up this troll Harvey.
I'm just putting this here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, if there's a Metal Gear equivalent for above SSS, like maybe in Rising or something,
Yeah.
I'm gonna apply that. No chance in hell, as Vince McMahon would say, no chance in hell. Fired.
It's Strand level.
They make a new Metal Gear game, and it's a Strand game.
Dude, can you
It's a
imagine if
crossover.
this actually fucking happens? Like, just the amount of like, we were fucking wrong about that. Like,
Oh,
Metal
Jesus.
Gear
No,
Stranding.
we predicted it, so we deserve like 30 million followers.
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, this came out, like you said, like this came out of us just like trying to one up each other and like just kind of getting into like conspiracy theory level of like putting red string from image to image, like Polaroid to
Yeah.
Polaroid.
Yeah.
And this was just like there's so much in like the more every layer you peel back from this prediction gets crazier and crazier. Like not only does Konami have to like want to do video games again, but then their business relationship fixes, and then Kojima actually has to want to make another Metal Gear, and then he has to ask Sony for money, and just like the more you go into it, and then he has to find David Hayter or Kiefer Sutherland, who the fuck knows, and it's just like every step of it is so completely batshit insane.
No, he'll the new one will have Venom Snake and the original Solid Snake in it, and he'll get Kiefer Sutherland versus David Hayter.
Yeah,
and it'll be like the end of Metal Gear 4, but it'll be like the two snakes on top of like a fucking. How can you outdo them fighting on top of a Metal Gear? God, fighting on top of that thing at the end of 5, whatever it was called, I forget. The Evangelion looking thing.
The walk.
Scratch that. Fighting on top of a giant robot Quiet, and like the rainbow effect is happening as you're punching each other in the face.
this project would have so much money they could afford to make a time machine and get young Mel Gibson to play himself from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake and put him actually in Metal Gear Solid 6.
And they get Oscar Isaac in, since he's playing Snake in the movie, and put him in the game.
Somehow do like a Spider-Verse crossover.
Yeah,
with Stranding somehow involved.
it's a Metal Gear Strand game, Spider-Verse crossover. It's also apparently tied into the movie.
Yeah.
All right, final two. And
This is just getting crazy at this point.
I think something might happen there. I think IPs and acquisitions this year is going to be big for gaming. A lot of consolidation, and I think I'm going to say the last one first. So I'm going to say Sony buys Konami. Sony buys Square Enix.
Yeah.
And just wins the next generation.
So
war.
I know you mean like the IPs and shit, but I love the idea of Sony coming in and just buying Konami's gyms and like fitness equipment.
Yeah.
All the pachinko, all the spas.
Sony now owns like Metal Gear Solid 3, the pachinko machine. Download it now on your PS5.
Finally, Sony has the Fox engine.
That would be dope.
I mean, how much is Konami worth?
I mean, what's more insane, Sony buying Konami or Sony buying Square Enix?
I think
it's
Square
Sony buying
Enix
Konami.
is very I think that's pretty sane. I personally feel like that.
I wouldn't be that
could
shocked.
happen.
Well, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I would be like, yeah, I could see that happening. Like, I don't know if it would ever happen, but if it happened, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, but if you woke up tomorrow and you fucking turned on your phone and it said Sony buys Konami, like the whole lot, the gym equipment, the fucking pachinko, you'd just be like,
I mean,
you'd go outside and try and test to see if reality was real. Like you'd like put your hand in some water and be like, am I water now? Like, what the fuck is happening?
I mean, Konami is worth. I've got here on Google $3.5 billion.
Yeah,
Sony can buy it,
which is less than Microsoft paid for Bethesda.
but that doesn't include future cash flows, so that could be blown up because Sony will have to buy the future. It's just the net worth of the company is estimated $3.5 billion, but how much they pay for it could be more.
Yeah, could be less. Honestly, they could just buy their gaming division IPs. I put 3 Kojima the God images for Sony buys Konami based on our rating scale because I think it's completely fucking insane. But it would be like, I just like to borrow what you said, James. Like, imagine fucking waking up and being like, like not just pinching yourself, but like staring at the mirror and being like trying to figure out like
Yeah.
if the veil of reality has somehow been
Yep.
torn apart. Like walking outside, it would be that moment that you see in a lot of like those like the white picket fence horror movies where like a guy's just standing in the driveway with a cup of coffee, just like looking out, like dead-eyed stare. Like that would be me going like,
Yeah.
The,
No,
the, the whole reasoning why I think this would happen is because they need to respond to Microsoft buying Bethesda.
yes,
They need to.
Yeah, I think they will, but I don't think it will be such a big splash. I think they'll acquire some smaller studios or some studios that have always not been first party but felt like first party, and they'll just continue building their army of exclusives. I don't think it'll be this reality shifting, looking at my face in the mirror, trying to see if I'm still human kind of moment of like,
Okay.
what is life?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be nearly that spectacular.
All right.
I'm not sure I even want that because I don't want to face that reality. I don't want to question myself and like get into some Evangelion sense of existentialism bullshit.
I mean, like at this point, you know, From Software might actually be given the IP for Castlevania, which is what we've been wanting this entire time.
That would be fucking great.
That would be
Just real quickly while I think of it, this doesn't fit in our predictions, but it does fit into the Konami thing. Akira Yamamoto recently said in an interview that he alluded to a new a remake or a fucking Konami game coming out or being announced this summer at the end of the year, and he specifically said it's the one you've been waiting for. So the Silent Hill rumors are rampant again. They're never going to go away. Especially, imagine if he's just trolling. Like, I don't know him. I just know he's a great musician, but he's just stoking the flames, man.
Why are they going to do this? Why do they have to do this?
They won't let us. They won't let us rest.
Like, is this
Wait, we'll see.
is this Silent Hill like in this perpetual state of grief about the series that they're just like
Yeah.
keep pulling
Yeah.
us back into the fucking town? Oh my god!
Are we in Silent Hill right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really does feel like that. It keeps promising us Silent Hill, and it never comes.
All right.
Mm.
To the final prediction of the year.
Yep.
That we at Life is a Fetch Quest have decided to throw out there into the ether. Sega gets acquired by Microsoft or Apple.
It's crazy to me that this doesn't seem that insane because we just talked about Sony buying Konami, but it's still insane.
Yeah. I mean, we had another I was about to put up another prediction now that Apple makes a hardware, like their own console, like based on their success. with
I
Arcade.
can see that
I
happening.
don't think that's that crazy,
No.
honestly. I don't know if it had happened this year, but definitely within like a 2 or 3 year window.
Can you imagine,
Apple will try to break
like
in
if
and then-
Apple bought Sega and said, "Hey, Persona 6 is now on this Apple console."
Apple TV.
Jesus Christ, I'd be so pissed. It's like I have to buy an Apple console just for that.
Yeah.
They got me by the balls. You know, they know what I want.
God damn it! I feel
And
like
then I guarantee it'd be one of those consoles with like nothing else on it is any good.
Yeah.
You just have it for that one great game.
and they just repackage the Yakuza Remastered series again. Be like, hey, yeah, fuck it, I'll play Yakuza 0 again. What? Why not? Why not? I'll
Just
do
to
it.
justify the money that I've spent. you
Yeah.
know?
But what do you think the acquisition of Sega would be?
I think like the level of craziness or who would acquire them.
Level craziness. I think it could be anyone, not necessarily Microsoft or Apple.
I think that Sega would be a really good asset to Microsoft because it opens up the Eastern market for them in a way that they have been desperately trying to capitalize on for ever since the original Xbox came out. So
Agreed.
I think the answer is Microsoft, I think it's really likely like a C, maybe a B. But
But this year though,
this
2021.
yeah,
Microsoft just bought Bethesda.
Yeah.
I mean, Sega has that tradition, though. They've remained independent for this long. It just seems crazy to me that they'd even be open to letting
Can you
anyone
imagine if
purchase them.
Sega just went out and be like, "We're releasing a new console"?
I feel like I would be less shocked
Yeah.
at them giving it one last stab than someone else buying it. I feel like there's a certain sense of Japanese pride there.
Mm.
You know, that kind of like, we are Sega, like, no, we don't belong to anyone else. I don't know. This is just me purely kind of projecting, but it's just the feeling I get from the fact that they've been this way for so long now. And they've got that
Yeah.
history of being, you know, head to head with Nintendo. And Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta say, like, I kind of agree. I mean, I don't know what current Sega leadership is now, but like in the '90s, they were notoriously pig-headed and prideful. Like that's how the Saturn died in the ass because of the like upper management was like so close to releasing all these add-ons. Like, wait, let's release a within like 3-4 months of the 32X was like, yeah, let's release a Saturn, fuck it, and also announce price on the same day and not tell retailers. Like it was hubris. Sega, yeah, Sega hubris at its finest. So
I mean, the latest news of Sega is Lego and Sega are collaborating for a Sonic the Hedgehog brick set. So
I saw that. Yes.
what if Lego suddenly bought Sega?
A surprise entrant into the race.
And then Lego makes a console, but you have to like be really good at Lego to put it together.
Customize your case, and it's just like nightmare of PCB like motherboards and all shit, and you're like,
it's like, I really hate this Lego controller. If only there was a way to improve it. Wait a minute. Pull out your bucket of Lego. Add like 5 more joysticks.
But then
3 more buttons.
Then you lose one of the corner pieces that would smooth it out. So there's just like jagged piece like digging into your palm on the right hand side.
Yeah.
You can't jump anymore because you lose the A button. You step on it one morning, it's like, oh fuck.
All right, so that's all our predictions for this 2021. We'll swing back at the end of the year and see how well we went.
Yeah.
If we are truly the Nostradamus of gaming, or if we are just 3 shitheads who know nothing.
But for the time being, let us know what you think on Twitter and stuff. By all means, give us your predictions. See if you can out crazy us.
Yeah, see if you can have an SSS tier prediction. And if you're right, James will buy you a beer. I don't know.
What? Why is my money on the line
I'm
here?
that. I don't have to do shit.
Wow.
I guess we should.
But you're gonna come to Melbourne for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Then I'll just leave Melbourne. Oh, I'm on holiday. Sorry, I'll get you in a year next time you're around.
We should talk about streams and stuff. So I did.
What we're doing this year besides this first video stream or video live podcast. What else we've been doing, and also Rob, probably speak about what you did last week.
Yeah, so I had a stream on twitch.tv/Life is a First Request. So we just had a bit of a good old time playing some Hades and the Castlevania conversion mod for Doom, which was a fucking blast. That's
so strange. That whip sound is like stuck in my head after.
You want to talk about like moments where you're questioning reality? Where that part of the stream, I was just like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Is this a fever dream?
We're gonna have more of that this year.
So I keep an eye on our socials. But I might do a stream on Saturday, but we'll make sure that I'll figure out a date by the time we get the podcast out.
Plenty of notice. Give him plenty of notice.
Plenty of notice.
Yeah. Anything else to add before we wrap up?
Nothing much, man. It's been fun doing the podcast again. I think it'll be a good year. For games in general, I think it'll be better than last year because developers have gotten used to the working in the pandemic and they're kind of on their way out of it. Yep. Hopefully, things will resume back to normal before too long. And most of all, we've got the giant monkey of Cyberpunk off our back, so we're free to look forward to the future of games with optimism instead of being like, is this game ever going to come out? Is it going to be good if it comes out? Then it came out and it was trash, and it's like now we've all grieved and we can get on with our lives.
Yes, sweeter words I've never heard.
Yeah, it really felt like your own personal problem after a while, right? It was like, is this fucking thing? What's happening with this thing? You know?
I maybe one day
a bad relationship.
I swear to God, I was in. I mean, I talked about this on the stream, but I guess the funniest thing was like my girlfriend sitting down, I guess fiance now actually, sitting down next to me and watching me play it, and as she does every now and then, and watching in horror, what the fuck is this, man? Why? Babe, why are you playing this? And just quickly describe the situation, because we're going to wrap up. It was in the Voodoo Boys mission. You go down to the arcade. You can go down to the arcade area in the mall. It's some guy like hit scanned me from like 6 cabinets in a way, like did not even see me, and then got into a firefight and shot a guy inside of a fridge, and he freaking out. And I'm like, I'm playing this for science. Like, this is a hate play now. Like, I just need to know. And like, it glitched out in the fucking credits. I was so happy to see that game over. It is like, at the risk of going into a whole rant, it is one of the most miserable games I've ever played, and I'm so happy to be done with it and never touch it again. I will not be playing any new updates or bullshit.
I will.
You will?
I'll give it a shot.
Please keep
CDPR.
give us the updates.
Just play The Witcher 3 instead, Rob.
Yeah,
It'll make you feel
play
better.
The Witcher 3.
Yeah, I actually I have that now. I have Witcher 3.
It's
in
on
it.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've made a pact with fiance that she's gonna play Witcher first before I get into it, because it's a first real honest to god video game.
Oh man, that's a really good first video game.
Yeah.
It might be a little overwhelming in terms of AI and systems, but if you're there to like coach it through it, that'd be interesting. That'd be a good stream.
Actually, yeah, that would be fun
Yeah.
to do. I wonder how down she'd be for that.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Do like an animated talking head of her if she doesn't want to be on screen.
Just VTube her. Do an anime version of her.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
Do a VTube.
Anime fiance.
Yeah. You actually getting married to a anime VTube.
He's living the weeboo dream.
All right, so
Waifu, no lifu.
I mean, he is wearing a Catherine shirt
It's true.
right now.
Actually,
Oh my god, that's the best place to end the podcast. Everything's come back around.
Yep. All right, so that's us for this week. You can find us on Spotify,
YouTube now.
Apple Podcasts, yeah, all the podcasting, as well as YouTube. So this will be our first podcast on YouTube, hopefully for many more. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So find us at Life is a Fetch Quest, except for Twitter, which is Life is AFQ, I believe.
Mhm.
And that's it. Oh, also we're on Twitch. So Rob's streams will be on Twitch. See you next week.
Cool. Nice. Peace out.
Bye.
peace out, Pastor Spout.